Hi,
I feel
welcome, Leisha Hailey and Kate Moennig. Thank you for chatting with me. It's always a pleasure to chat with you.
oh,
Nice to see you
so great to
again.
speak with you again.
Uh, well, first off, I've already told you that I'm just so excited about the new season. It just feels like so much of what the fans want, and so I wonder. I'd like to start by asking each of you, what was it like to come back to shoot this season after you had your first season in the premiere, and then shot the second one at the height of COVID, and what was it like to come back now, kind of as a little bit of a family on set after for the third season?
It was exciting to come back to work in warmer months. Really,
It really does mean a lot to you every
it
year.
really,
You love
it is, it's priceless.
I like that's your first
Second,
answer.
well, second season, it was the height of COVID, but also it
Right.
was very cold out and rainy and dark. And
What else besides the weather that meant a lot
well,
to you?
it means a lot
That's
to
it?
me. Yeah, and then we came back for third season in June. The irony is Leisha and I actually got COVID like the first week of filming, but that's beside the point.
Mhm.
It was Jordan's fault.
Yeah,
That's
it
what we
was.
said.
Yeah, but it involves a car where the said infection took place.
Oh, oh no.
It was warm out,
And
and
we
it
had
was
a good night at work.
we had
It
a
was
fun night at work, but it was nice to be outside. I'm sorry, in t-shirts and not freezing your ass off.
Yeah.
You
But besides the weather, it was nice to
you complain about that too.
Yeah, it was nice to be together as a cast where we weren't all in shields and masks and separated.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just
Yeah.
felt. I think that was sort of a bonding experience for all of us second season. So by
Mhm.
third, we were just like, hi,
Yeah.
it was like
Yeah.
an extra excitement.
Hmm.
Wonderful. Well, I'm sorry that you got COVID. I also had it in July. It's life now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask you a little bit regarding coming back and working and bonding with everyone. I also love that the show is kind of showing, you've all gone from friendships to Alice and Shane are now like Aunt Alice and Aunt Shane to Angie, and really an extended family for Bet and Angie and Tina. And I wonder if you might comment a little bit about that, because of course, chosen and queer family is so important to in our lives. So I wanted to throw that to you and Leisha.
Well, I mean, I think if somebody fills that role, it's more Shane. I don't know why. Like Alice is
I
still
have
a little
more.
bit.
I actually have more scenes.
You have more
with
scenes with her.
Jordan.
I think they've written Alice to be a little bit more self-centered this season, right? Have you noticed? Or a little more caught up with her. I don't know. A
Yeah.
little self-involved.
That is true.
But I
actually,
still
it's
am
true.
an auntie to Angie, and I love that. I wish we had more together. But you're really like, I would say more.
I feel like I worked with Jordan quite a bit this year.
Yeah.
Am I conflating?
No.
I'm not conflating seasons.
No, it's this season.
It's this season. Yeah, I actually work with Jordan a lot. And it's odd because, well, it's funny for me because on the original I was the youngest in the cast, and now in the new one I'm one of the oldest. So I feel like Shane's passing down her wisdom, whatever that could be, to this child
I know.
who doesn't know
thing, right?
who doesn't know any better.
Well, yeah, Angie's lucky.
But she's smart.
Yeah.
Angie's got a head
The
on her
smartest.
shoulders,
Mhm.
and Jordan certainly has a head on her shoulders. So Angie's going to be fine. I don't
Yeah.
think Angie needs advice. I think Angie should actually give us advice.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't really say why we fill the shoes of the aunties a little bit more this season, but
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I loved the scene where you're helping Angie move into school. I thought that was really lovely.
Mm.
And so, Kate, I will ask you because we chatted about this earlier. I think it's kind of rare to see women of a certain age, especially in television and in Hollywood, having sexual agency and really just expressing themselves in that way and having viability. Often, so many women are considered put out to pasture at a certain age by Hollywood. And so I think it's refreshing to see that here. And would you comment on that aspect of the show?
I completely agree with you, and it's incredibly ageist to think otherwise. And the irony is that, like you said, being put out to pasture, but the irony is that that whole intimate sexual experience actually gets better with age because you know yourself more.
Yeah.
And I think that's a gigantic missed opportunity. And that's one of the main reasons why I don't have issue doing love scenes on this show, because it reflects that. Now, I'm not saying who I play is the healthiest person, but at least there's still an ownership of that, which I appreciate and I want to reflect on. Yeah.
It's so funny because I never think of not having sexual agency at a certain. It's just
Exactly.
until someone asks you that question,
Right.
you're like, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to.
Right. Yeah, that's where the ageism comes in.
I know.
Exactly.
I mean, it's true. Yeah, it's true. But as a viewer, it's kind of refreshing because I feel like I don't see that enough. So, but yeah, so I love that the show is doing that.
I think that actually these characters are like thriving sexually.
Yeah,
Alice is on, like,
emotionally,
a-
not so much,
No,
but sexually, sure.
Wonderful. Well,
I don't think Shane has a dry spell this season, does she?
No.
No, she doesn't have a
and
dry
Alice
spell.
is on a full journey.
Alice is on a road trip. Yeah.
yeah, I applaud their energy.
Right, yes.
Leisha, you get to work with someone this season who, for queer women of the 90s, was a very big deal. You get to work with Joey Lauren Adams. And would you talk a little bit about that? Because Chasing Amy was such a big deal because we didn't have much back then.
Exactly. I mean, for me, it was, Kate and I sat around and
Who pitched it?
you did. We
Thank
talked a lot about characters in the 90s or just from our era who meant a lot to us because we didn't have much, if any, representation in the movies or on TV at all, really. So, yeah, Joey played an iconic character in Chasing Amy, and she was just an out proud bisexual, and we thought that was a really cool idea for casting, someone with Alice, because Alice is like kind of a groundbreaking bisexual character on TV, and it just seemed like a cool and energetically well matched casting. And she's amazing. We had so much fun.
She is amazing.
And she was really, really jazzed to come do it, and we had a great time together.
It was terrific to see her. And then Kate, I mean, you get to work with Kehlani. That's amazing.
I do get to work with Kehlani. Yeah.
Would you talk a little bit about that? I mean, that's huge.
Well, I loved working with Kehlani. What an easy person to work with. Truly, it just came in and was easygoing and open to ideas.
Yeah.
Had great ideas of her own. Actually, there was one scene that I guess I can't give away, but she said she basically sort of restructured it and made it work better. Because and I know she directs a lot of her own music videos, so she has that chip in her brain where she's trying to piece things together narratively. And she was just a true joy to work with, honestly. And I think she's important. I really wish she was around more, to be honest. I didn't want her to leave.
I know, none of us did.
And
she's really grounded and just
so grounded,
self-assured, and
completely.
It was just, she's awesome.
Yeah, and she even, and I liked her. I liked how there was a humbleness to her, like a genuine humbleness. The first day she said, "Yeah, I'm nervous. I haven't done this before." Instead of coming in with any sort of fake bravado, she was just very present, and I appreciate that in anyone.
Yeah, I love that. She was one of our cover stars a few years ago, and one of my favorites that we ever did. Just so wonderful.
Great human being. Yeah. Great human being.
I wanted to touch on, the two of you have been, I don't have to tell you, the two of you have been friends for almost 20 years now, and you've been doing Pants, the podcast, and there's a line in the show where Alice, or I think Alice says it a couple times to Shane, "Oh, you're getting the itch." Like Alice knows Shane better than Shane knows herself in some ways. And I wonder if you can talk a little bit about how your real life friendship possibly either does or doesn't bleed into the show and your chemistry on screen.
We wish we worked together more.
Oh yeah, I mean, we did a lot more this season. I
did
think
do
if
a lot
there's a
more,
really
yeah.
good representation of our friendship, I'm going to say it's in the finale.
What
I just think it just
Okay.
has energetically like what we're really like. I think our friendship completely bleeds into the show.
I agree. Actually, that's a good way to
Yeah.
put it. Yeah.
Yeah, we're obviously not those characters.
Mm.
But if you don't bring yourself to the character, you just there's a false aspect to your work. So I think there has to be something.
There's certainly such ease working
Yeah.
together, and we're good at like figuring out ideas to make something maybe a little more colorful
Yes.
and make things up on the spot if we
Mhm.
want. There's just sort of a unspoken
To try to get it to
shorthand.
jump off the page. Like if what you're reading is one
Yeah.
thing, you'd want to try to bring life to it.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really have much more. I just wanted to give you an opportunity if there's something you'd like to say about the season or pants or anything else that you've got going on.
Pants.
I mean, pants is its own topic.
We are really excited about this season because it's it kind of I think for the first time in these 3 years with this reboot, like it feels like all the characters intermingle in a way that hasn't happened yet. Like it finally makes sense in that aspect.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Absolutely.
So there was I think there was more like
Cohesion.
Yeah, and fun. I mean, sorry, it's such a lame word, but we're actually doing things that are entertaining and interesting, and we all sort of go on adventures together, and they really like stretched everybody this season. I think episode 6 is a massive highlight.
I think if anyone takes something away from this coming season, it will be episode 6.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I know it's a lot of buildup. I hope it matches the moment.
But even if it doesn't, it's we did something.
But we did do something, and it was the most fun we had. So maybe we're just projecting onto onto you.
I think it shows on screen when you all are having fun. I don't know if this was a fun one for you, but one of my two of my favorite scenes in the original were when you all were doing pop brownies and singing.
That was all made up. We made that whole thing up.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was Angela Robinson who picked out that song.
Yeah.
And the rest of it, as for anything else revolving the pop brownies, that was all us.
Yeah.
You and I, the whole cast. Yeah.
Yeah. And the joy just kind of comes through. So
yeah, they were trying to recreate that. They were trying
weekend we had.
They were trying to recreate the actual weekends we had up in Vancouver when we were all together.
I mean, that really is like when real life bleeds into the show, right?
And Angela Robinson probably was just sitting in the corner with a notepad saying,
"That's a smart writer." When you watch the actual actors, and you're like, "Oh,
I know." Yeah, and they pay attention to where the real chemistry is because then you can just build on it, and it'll pop off even bigger.
Yeah, amazing. Well, Kate and Leisha, thank you so much for chatting with me. I always appreciate your time, and I'm such a fan of the new season.
Thank you,
Tracy. Appreciate it.
Thank you.